Welcome to Daily English Dose Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Aisha.
And I'm Daniel. Today's topic is something we all struggle with at some point: self-discipline and consistency, especially when learning English.
Yeah, honestly, this is not just about English, it's about life. But English is where many people feel it the most.
Exactly. People start learning with a lot of excitement, but after a few days or maybe a few weeks, they just stop.
That used to be me. I would watch one or two videos, feel super motivated, and then nothing. I'd disappear for weeks.
Same here. I remember I downloaded so many English learning apps, but I never stayed consistent with any of them.
So let's start simple. Daniel, how would you define self-discipline?
For me, self-discipline is doing something even when you don't feel like doing it, especially on the days when you feel lazy or tired.
That's powerful, because motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays.
Exactly. Motivation is like a spark. Discipline is the engine.
Wow, I like that. For me, consistency is even more important, because even if you study just 10 minutes every day, it's better than studying for 2 hours once a week.
That's so true. People think they need a lot of time, but actually they just need regular effort.
Let me share a real story. A few years ago, I decided to improve my English speaking. I was so excited. Day 1, I studied for 3 hours. Day 2, 2 hours. Day 3, I was tired. Day 4, I stopped.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, and then I realized something. The problem was not my ability, it was my lack of consistency.
That's a big realization. Many people think, my English is not good. But the real problem is they are not practicing regularly.
Exactly. So I changed my strategy. I told myself just 15 minutes every day, no excuses.
And did it work?
At first, it felt too small. I thought, what will 15 minutes do? But after 1 month, I could see the difference.
That's the magic of consistency.
Yes. What about you? Did you ever struggle with consistency?
Oh, definitely. I used to start learning and then quit very quickly. One of my biggest problems was overthinking.
Overthinking? How?
I would think, my pronunciation is not good. What if people laugh? What if I make mistakes? And because of that, I didn't practice.
That's so relatable. Fear can really stop us.
Exactly. And then one day I asked myself, how will I improve if I don't practice?
That's a turning point.
Yes, so I started speaking to myself, just simple sentences, in my room, alone.
That's actually a great technique.
It is. No pressure, no fear, just practice.
You know, people think they need a partner to practice English, but honestly, you can start alone.
Absolutely. You can talk to yourself, describe your day, or even speak in front of a mirror.
I used to do that. I would stand in front of the mirror and say, "Hi, my name is Aisha. Today I woke up at 7." It felt silly at first.
But it works.
It really does. And slowly I became more confident.
Confidence comes from action, not from thinking.
That's such an important line. People wait to feel confident before they start, but actually, confidence comes after you start.
Exactly. So let's talk about practical tips. How can someone be consistent while learning English?
First, keep it simple. Don't try to do too much.
Yes, start small. Even 10 minutes a day is enough.
Second, make it a habit. Fix a time.
Like morning or night?
Exactly. For example, every day at 8 p.m. you practice English. No excuses.
That's powerful, because when something becomes a habit, you don't have to think about it.
Yes, it becomes automatic.
Another tip I would add, track your progress.
Oh, yes, that really helps.
When you see that you've practiced for 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, you feel proud, and you don't want to break the chain.
That's true. Even a simple notebook can help.
Or even your phone notes.
Exactly. Write day 1, practiced speaking. Day 2, learned 5 new words.
And celebrate small wins.
Yes, that's so important. Don't wait for big results.
Even learning one new word is progress.
You know what else helped me? Using English in daily life.
Like how?
For example, instead of thinking in my native language, I tried to think in English.
That's a great practice.
Even simple things, like I'm making tea, I'm going outside.
That builds fluency naturally.
Yes, and it doesn't feel like studying.
That's the key. Make it part of your life, not just a task.
Exactly, because if it feels like a burden, you won't continue.
Let's talk about another problem. People start comparing themselves with others.
Oh, yes, that's dangerous.
They see someone speaking fluently and think, I can't do that.
But they don't see the journey behind it.
Exactly. Everyone starts from zero.
So focus on your own progress.
Not perfection, progress.
That's a beautiful line.
Thank you. And one more thing, don't be afraid of mistakes.
Yes, mistakes are part of learning.
If you never make mistakes, you're not learning.
I used to be so afraid of speaking wrong English.
What changed?
I realized nobody is perfect. Even native speakers make mistakes.
That's true.
So I gave myself permission to be imperfect.
That's powerful because perfection kills progress.
Exactly.
So if someone is listening right now and struggling, what would you say to them?
I would say start small, be consistent, don't give up.
And I would say, believe in yourself. You can do this.
Even if it feels slow, keep going.
Because one day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come.
And that feeling is worth everything.
Absolutely.
So guys, if you're learning English right now, just remember, consistency is your superpower.
And self-discipline is your best friend.
You know, Daniel, something we didn't talk about yet is what happens when you break your consistency.
That's a big one because it happens to everyone.
Exactly. People think, oh no, I missed one day, I failed, and then they quit completely.
Yes, that all or nothing mindset is very dangerous.
So true. Missing one day is normal. Missing 2 days, okay. But the problem starts when you stop coming back.
Right. It's not about being perfect. It's about returning.
I love that. It's about returning.
Yeah, even if you miss a week, just restart. No guilt.
Guilt actually makes it worse, right?
Exactly. When you feel guilty, you avoid the task even more.
So instead of saying, I failed, say, I'm restarting.
That mindset shift changes everything.
You know what helped me during those times? Making my routine flexible.
Flexible, how?
Instead of saying, I must study 30 minutes every day, I said, I'll study at least 5 minutes.
That's smart because 5 minutes feels easy.
Exactly. And once I start, most of the time I continue longer.
That's a psychological trick. Starting is the hardest part.
Yes, once you begin, it becomes easier.
This reminds me of something called the 2-minute rule.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Can you explain it?
Sure, the idea is if something feels difficult, just do it for 2 minutes. That's it.
And usually you end up doing more.
Exactly, it removes the pressure.
That's such a powerful idea for language learning.
Yes, for example, just read one paragraph in English.
Or learn just one new word.
Or speak just one sentence.
And that's how consistency is built.
Slowly, step by step.
Let's talk about distractions, because that's another big challenge.
Oh yes, phones, social media, notifications.
Exactly. You sit down to study English and suddenly you're scrolling for 30 minutes.
Happens to me all the time.
So how do we deal with that?
One simple trick, remove distractions before you start.
Like putting your phone away?
Yes, or turning off notifications.
That makes a huge difference.
Also, create a study environment.
What do you mean?
A specific place where you always practice English.
Oh, like a dedicated spot.
Exactly. When you sit there, your brain knows it's time to learn.
That's interesting. It builds a mental connection.
Yes, environment shapes behavior.
I noticed that too. When I studied on my bed, I felt sleepy.
Same. Bed is for rest, not for learning.
So choose a simple desk or a quiet corner.
Yes, keep it clean and distraction-free.
Let's talk about motivation again, because people always ask, how do I stay motivated?
Honestly, you won't always feel motivated.
That's the truth.
Some days you'll feel excited, other days you'll feel lazy.
So what do we do on those lazy days?
We rely on discipline, not motivation.
Back to discipline again.
Exactly. Discipline is doing it anyway.
Even when you don't feel like it.
Yes, especially when you don't feel like it.
You know, I used to wait for motivation.
And
I wasted a lot of time.
that's a common mistake.
Now I just tell myself, just start.
That's the best advice.
Let's talk about realistic goals.
Very important.
People set big goals like, I will become fluent in 1 month.
That's unrealistic.
And when they don't achieve it, they feel disappointed.
Exactly. So set small, achievable goals.
Like, I will learn 10 new words this week.
Or I will speak for 5 minutes daily.
These goals build confidence.
And confidence keeps you going.
Let's also talk about enjoying the process.
Yes, learning shouldn't feel like punishment.
Exactly. Watch movies, listen to songs, enjoy the language.
That makes it fun.
And when it's fun, you stay consistent.
Absolutely.
I used to watch English videos with subtitles.
That's a great method.
At first, I didn't understand much.
But slowly you improved.
Yes, it took time, but it worked.
That's another lesson. Be patient.
Progress takes time,
There is no shortcut.
but the results are worth it.
Definitely.
Let's talk about speaking practice again.
Sure.
Many people understand English, but they can't speak.
That's because they don't practice speaking.
Exactly. Listening alone is not enough.
You need to use the language.
Even if it's broken English.
Broken English is better than silence.
I love that line.
Because speaking improves speaking.
Yes, there's no other way.
So don't wait until you're perfect.
Start now.
Even with mistakes.
Mistakes are teachers.
Exactly.
So, Daniel, if you could give just one final tip.
I would say never give up on consistency.
That's powerful.
Even slow progress is progress.
Yes, and my final tip would be believe in yourself.
Because mindset matters.
Absolutely.
So to everyone listening, keep going.
Stay consistent
Stay disciplined.
and keep learning.
We're with you on this journey.
Always.